I read the prescription. It ran 1 lb beefsteak with 1 pt bitter beer every 6 hours, 1 10-mile walk every morning, 1 bed at 11 sharp every night. And don't stuff up your head with things you don't understand. I followed the directions with the happy result, speaking for myself that my life was preserved and is still going on. In the present instance, going back to the liver pill circular, I had the symptoms beyond all the mistakes. The chief among them being a general disinclination to work of any kind. What I suffer in that way no tongue can tell. From my earliest infancy I have been a martyr to it. As a boy, the disease hardly ever left me for a day. They did not know then that it was my liver. Medical science was in a far less advanced state than now, and they used to put it down to laziness. "Why, you skulking little devil, you," they would say, "get up and do something for your living, can't you?" Not knowing, of course, that I was ill. And they did not give me pills. They gave me clumps on the side of the head. And, strange as it may appear, those clumps on the head often cured me for the time being. I have known one clump on the head have more effect upon my liver and make me feel more anxious to get straight away then and there, and do what was wanted to be done, without further loss of time, than a whole box of pills does now. You know, it often is so those simple, old-fashioned remedies are sometimes more efficacious than all the dispensary stuff. We sat there for half an hour describing to each other our maladies. I explained to George and William Harris how I felt when I got up in the morning. And William Harris told us how he felt when he went to the bed. And George stood on the hearthrug and gave us a clever and powerful piece of acting, illustrative of how he felt in the night. George fancies he is ill, but there's never anything really the matter with him, you know. At this point, Mrs. Poppets knocked at the door to know if we were ready for supper. We smiled sadly at one another and said we supposed we had better try to swallow a bit. Harris said a little something in one's stomach often kept the disease in check, and Mrs. Poppets brought the tray in. And we drew up to the table and toyed with a little steak and onions, and some rhubarb tart. I must have been very weak at the time because I know, after the first half hour or so, I seemed to take no interest whatever in my food. An unusual thing for me, and I did not want any cheese. This duty done, we refilled our glasses, lit our pipes and resumed the discussion upon our state of health. What it was that was actually the matter with us, we, none of us, could be sure of. But the unanimous opinion was that it, whatever it was, had been brought on by overwork. "What we want is rest," said Harris. "Rest and a complete change," said George. "The overstrain upon our brains has produced a general depression throughout the system. Change of scene and absence of the necessity for thought will restore the mental equilibrium.